Well, wait till you see this, LB. I
What's the
think you're going
question?
to enjoy it.
What if?
If Martin Luther King had not been assassinated and instead became president, what one thing would you like to talk about that would be different now?
Americans' defense spending.
Oh,
I think the main thing that would have changed if Martin Luther King hadn't been assassinated and become president is that spirituality, God, fear, and how those intertwine with politics would be much more accepted in the conversation. I still feel like it's taboo to talk about spiritual things in terms of politics. And I think that he was a great example of somebody who united those forces, as does Marianne, which is why I'm really excited to talk to her.
The first thing that comes to my mind from this question is that there would not be the Ku Klux Klan.
First and foremost in my mind, what came to my mind was reparations. They would be serious considerations for getting reparations. He'd be driving that. If he was president right now, adding to that, I think there would be a stronger element of peace coming out of the United States of America instead of war.
Well, what comes to mind is I think I remember Martin Luther King being someone who was empowering individuals. So I think the one thing that would make that he would have made the difference as president is people having more hope in themselves and hope in terms of the contribution they could make to society.
the first thing that comes to my mind, and it's an extraordinary imagining, is what if the military-industrial complex had been stopped? It's been a bulldozer, it's been a steamroller, it's escalated and escalated and escalated to the point that we are now. But what if that military-industrial complex had been thwarted and eliminated?
If Dr. Martin Luther King were president of the United States, I feel that the way people think and live on a day-to-day basis would be more on a conscious level in terms of how we look at each other.
I do like that. That's a great question. I do like that a lot. So I guess at this point, since I didn't do the video, okay, what comes to my mind is that if we had had Martin Luther King presidency, that my experience as the mother of African-American young Black people wouldn't have been so terrifying. One of the things we know, we talk in the Black community about how you give, a lot of us, the majority of the people that I know, give our children the talk. And the talk is when they're not cute anymore, especially when you have boys. There's a time when everybody thinks they're cute. I raised my kids as a single mother in New England, and they were used to being around my friends who went to Salve Regina University. So they were used to being around a lot of white people, and I saw how comfortable my children were. And they were like, oh, you're just so cute. Oh, they're so precious. They treated them so nice. But I knew when my boys started turning 12, 13, 14, I had to have the talk. And I had to say, now you're cute like a puppy, when you're little. But as you start to look like a Black man, you're not going to be cute anymore. And you're going to be perceived as a threat. And so that resonates with what Martin Luther King said. I wanted my little children to grow up in a country where one day they are judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin, because he knew that that was the case. So I would love a presidency that would have turned this world into a place where I, as a mother, didn't look at my sons, and particularly my sons. My daughter too. You, as a female Black, you do go through some of that, but I think a Black male would be able to give me more insight to that if he's experienced it. I was terrified for them, and one of my worst nightmares came true when I sent my 14-year-old son outside to wipe eggs off my car in Newport, Rhode Island, and he came back to the door. My hairs on my back and my neck stood up because I knew why. I didn't even know what happened. I knew why. Because he was out in the public wiping eggs off. I was like, ooh, I shouldn't have told him to do that. I forgot. I got too comfortable. and there were 2 cops out there because they said, "We know you don't live there. Where you live, boy?" You know, and because he's a black boy wiping the eggs off the car, he had a bucket and a sponge. What the hell was he gonna do? So I would love a presidency where we didn't have to give our boys that talk, where I didn't have to feel any different than a white mother who sent her white son out there to wipe eggs off her car. That'd be real nice. That'd be a real luxury. If we had that. Was my answer too long? Because everybody else's was a little shorter than that.